Good morning. Today is Tuesday, February 20th. I hereby call the House Corrections Subcommittee to order. Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Representative Butler. Representative Eldridge.
Here.
Representative Kiesling.
Yes.
Representative McCalman. Representative Miller. Representative Powell. Chairman Hurt.
Yep.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Members, as we have observed, we've had a slow start to our Corrections Subcommittee, but I anticipate things to pick up over the next couple of weeks. I welcome each of you and welcome all of our guests here today. Before we get started on our bill that we have on notice, are there any personal orders or announcements? Recognize.
Thank you, Chairman. I have with me today the chairman of the Hamlin County Commission, Chris Cutshaw. If you all would, please make him welcome. And the thing is I've known him since he was about 6 years old and can't be prouder of him. So thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, and welcome, sir. Any others? That being said, let's move directly to our calendar. First item number one is House Bill 2808 by Chairman Halsey. You have a motion and a second. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee. I appreciate the time. And if Representative Eldridge knew you since you were 3, that means he was born back when the Dead Sea was just sick, and that's a long time ago. So he's right up there with me. We ran a bill similar to this last year to try to clear this up. I don't know if you know this, you probably do, but if local jails have somebody who's got HIV and they're on medication, the medication runs about $7,000 a month. It's quite expensive and it impacts jails' budgets significantly. So we rewrote it this year to try and get some success with it. And it says if a person is already receiving through any state agency or TennCare this medication, and then they get arrested and they go to a county jail, that service will follow them. If they were receiving it before, they'll continue to receive it in the jail and pay for it. And I'm in a discussion with Physical Review right now because they got a $93,000 note on it, and that makes absolutely no sense to me because if you're paying for it already, this is not additional new money. This is you just keep on paying for what you're paying for now. But that's pretty much what the bill does.
Thank you for that presentation, sir. First on the list, we have Representative Powell. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know I asked a lot of questions about this. This came through the committee last year, and I was against that bill because I had some certain concerns with making sure that those that are incarcerated were actually provided those HIV drugs, because my concern is the county could interpret this to in a way that they might not have to provide those. And I know we had some back and forth, but this is what you're dealing with now. I know it's a similar issue, but what we had last year, that was actually passed, wasn't it? Wasn't that made? Okay. So what were the issues with the legislation that we passed, which I was against, that now we're revisiting with this legislation?
Chairman Halsey, you're recognized.
Thank you. Their reasoning was these agencies that have the money or was providing the money say that they didn't have any money. There was no new money for this. And they did not yield any. It did not work. That's why we took this approach here, is that if you're already paying for it, you got to keep on paying for it. By the way, in answer to part of that, if you have an inmate that is not an inmate, but just any person out here who is HIV positive, and he might be getting it from a private source or something like that, or he just gets diagnosed and then he gets arrested and put in jail. The jail, of course, then has to provide this medication for him. This would only apply to people who are already receiving it before they get incarcerated.
Representative Powell.
I appreciate that answer. That gives me a little bit more clarity. I just, my concern with the previous legislation, and I guess still with this one, hopefully you're addressing it, is that if you have inmates that are not provided their HIV medicine, we could see basically an increase in their abilities to transmit HIV and AIDS, which then could be severely impactful to not just the general population, but the prison population, but the general population, and be detrimental to public health. So, my hope is that, and this is why I had heartburn with what we passed last year, is I just didn't think there was enough money that adequately would address that. So, I hear what you're saying. I think this is a little bit better way to go about it. But I'm going to take a closer look at this, but I appreciate you answering my questions.
Chairman, any reply? You could?
No, it is the only avenue I know to try to make sure. A jail is responsible for meting out any medical treatment that somebody needs, and they have to do it. I mean, there's no, to me, legitimate way or legal way to get out of it. They have to provide it.
Thank you, sir. Next on the list, we have Representative McCallum. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman Holsley, do we have any idea as to how many folks that are in our prisons or our jails have been diagnosed or do have HIV?
Chairman, you're recognized.
Well, the only number I have is what Physical Review said, and they put a price tag of $93,000 at $7,000 a month. Those of you who are adept at math, I am not. You could probably come up with a number, but I have no idea. In my jail right now, I know there are 2 that they're dealing with right now. Just $14,000 a month.
It's just curious about those numbers. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we will be voting on House Bill 2808. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Bill passes to full state government committee. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Members, any other announcements or discussions we need to have today? Before we adjourn, I would like to make note that we do have a couple of presentations scheduled over the next couple of weeks. I know we have one next week on the Citizens Academy. I've heard good things about it. I'm looking forward to the presentation. So be sure that you put that on your calendar. And we have another one that we're trying to schedule at the same time, depending on how many bills are put on notice. So we will have those over the next couple of weeks, and I look forward to seeing you then. Anything else? Motion been made to adjourn without objection. We're adjourned.